Wonderful. Hi, everyone, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining in. I can see participants trickling into this very meeting. We have seven of the top US STEM-based schools, engineering schools, and a School of Arts and Science as well, gathered with us here today. They're currently touring India, and we thought that we cannot, India is a large country and we cannot go to all the cities, but we would love to do and visit Hyderabad, but we are doing that virtually at this very stage. I know a lot of you are here from Hyderabad, so please let us know and I know that there are some people outside of Hyderabad as well, especially the ones who could not make it to our event in Mumbai that happened right yesterday itself. So I know you couldn't join in person, but you joined online, so thank you so much for doing that. We are about 37 or 38 of us now in this room. Could you let us know in the chat box, just for the 38 of us that are here, could you let us know in the chat box which university or which city you are joining in from? You can write IIT Hyderabad, you can write GRIT, you can write the university and the city you are currently joining here us from. That will be super helpful. I'm looking at the chat and I know some of the responses are going to start trickling in as well. Um, okay, one second. I don't know if I have allowed everyone to chat. Just a second. Yes, now you shall be able to put in. No wonder. I was like, why is that not working? Perfect. Okay. IIT Head Srijan is here from IIT Hyderabad. Just use the chat box to let us know which city and which university you're joining us from. We are 42 of us in this room. That is super helpful. Anyone else? Could you let us know which city just so that our wonderful presenters, VJTI, Josh, we were at ICT earlier, Institute of Chemical Technology earlier today. Faraz is here from Mumbai. Anyone else? Let us know which city you're joining in from. In the meantime, what I'm also going to do right now is um, quickly have and put up a poll question on this screen. You'll see a poll question on this screen. And I would request all of you to look at this poll question and answer that to the best of your knowledge and preference. Which aspect of US STEM master's admissions process do you find most challenging? What's the most challenging about the US STEM master's admission process? And I think we'll get some good insights from these wonderful seven people. Is it about shortlisting universities where you have to find the perfect fit? Is it the SOPs? Is it the standardized test, either the English language test or the aptitude test, which is the GRE? So is it the GRE, IELTS, or TOEFL? Is it finding scholarships and other financial aid opportunities, or is it understanding application timelines and requirements? Let us know. We want to know, and the universities as well want to know what are some of the most important challenges that you face. The poll's going to be on the screen for the next few seconds only. So click on what do you think is the most challenging, and we'll try and solve that question to the best of our abilities, especially in the panel that we will follow some of these presentations. We are 50 plus of you in this room, so we have a lot of you that have also answered this poll. So I'm going to quickly end this poll right now, and I'm going to share this result for our wonderful panelists as well. And 50% of candidates who have submitted this poll, which is around 50 odd folks, have mentioned that shortlisting universities that fit their profile is one of the largest challenges, because each of your universities are one better than the other, so good in so many different elements. We will ask this question to some panelists about understanding the concept of finding a fit. Some people also find it like a little difficult or challenging to find the right scholarships and financial aid opportunities, so we'll also cover that in the panel questions that comes about later on as well. Now, just taking everyone through the agenda, what we'll do very quickly is there are seven universities. Each of them will do 3-minute quick presentations. And once they do that, we'll move to each and every school. And after that, there'll be a panel discussion and I will ask questions. We will be here for little over an hour from now. So if you have any questions, I would request you to use the Q&A tab. Don't use the chat window, use the Q&A tab to ask any questions that you would like, and we'll ask some of the relevant ones in there as well. Perfect. So less of me, and I'd like to first invite our first speaker and our first panelist for today, which is Abhyuday Pai, and he represents the university at Buffalo in New York.
Thank you, Sharang. Let me just. Can you see the presentation fine, Sharang?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Abhyuday Pai, and I'm representing University at Buffalo. Thank you so much for attending the session. It's late in the night in India, but you have taken the time. That's the first step in deciding whether you are really interested to go for higher education in the US. So a few things with respect to University at Buffalo. We are a New York's flagship university. We are amongst the top 40 research public university in the US. We have an annual research expenditure of $400 million. We are located in the state of New York, upstate New York, near Niagara Falls. This is our campus profile. We have around 32,000 students on campus. It's a huge student community, out of which 20% of them are international students. We have 13 schools under University at Buffalo. What this means as a student is that we have programs which is multidisciplinary. That means if you are taking courses in College of Engineering, you are also allowed to take courses from School of Medicine, School of Law, School of Architecture and Design. So we have around 500 different programs on campus, both undergrad, grad at the and at the combined degrees level. A bit about School of Engineering. It was founded in 1946. Students from 80 different countries. We have a strong 9 academic departments, ranging from biomedical engineering to computer science to electrical engineering and so on. Uh, so this is something which I wanted to highlight. Something new is always happening at University at Buffalo. So this fall 2025, we have started a new department, which is called the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Society. So what this department will offer going forward is that we're going to offer degrees which will be AI plus X. So X will be a variable where students get to decide what they want to combine it with. So it can be artificial intelligence with cybersecurity. So X can be anything: AI plus pharmacy, AI for plus architecture, AI plus data science. So you get to choose what you want to define that X. So that's very exciting, and it's just started this semester. The building on the right, what you see on this slide, is the Agrusa Hall, which is the AI Institute and the Research Hub. So Empire AI is a game changer. UB is the headquarters for Empire AI, New York State's premier AI research hub. It's a multi-million-dollar investment fueling AI-driven innovation. And you see the New York's governor also is invested in this Empire AI. What is Empire AI? It's a $500 million investment. It's a consortium of universities and industries coming together to start new research in all areas which is applied towards AI. So the consortium members include Columbia, Cornell, NYU, RPI, and so on. So I'll be around after the session, so you can ask me more questions with regards to life at University at Buffalo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abhyuday. Wonderful 3-minute pitch about University at Buffalo. Next up, I'd like to invite Mark, who represents Boston University and their College of Arts and Sciences. You're on mute, Mark. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you see that? But I tell that you
Yes,
can. Excellent.
we
So
can.
Boston University is one of the largest institutions in the Northeast in the Boston area. There are about 18,000 graduate students, 37,000 students overall. The graduate school is one of 17 different colleges that falls under the BU umbrella. A little bit more about some of the opportunities that are available to students. There's a very active Center for Career Development. There are wonderful educational and research centers as well. At the College of Arts and Sciences, there are about 40 different master's programs and 30 different PhDs. Those are fully funded as well. Although I do not represent the School of Engineering because I'm here with illustrious engineering colleagues, I'd like to mention that we do have quite a wonderful engineering offering as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, certainly here to put you in touch with the right folks. One of the things that sets us apart is this interdisciplinary approach and a combination with experiential learning. We want students who are actively engaged, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well. So you'll find that the university has put a lot of resources into making something like this happen. Many different facilities exist for our students to get their hands dirty. All of our programs, all of our master's programs are allowed to do research as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, you'll certainly find an outlet. Last year, over $500 million was spent in total research at the university, and we are seeing similar numbers as well this year. There are over 200 companies that developed and sold products that have been discovered at BU, and that ongoing research is something that we're very proud of as well. So overall, there are about 1,500 labs that students can get involved with. Even if you are interested in the humanities, that is something that you'll be able to do as well as research. So something that's very important to us. Finally, I know that a lot of students are concerned with scholarships. We do offer 25-seat scholarships that start at $10,000 per student. In the event that a student qualifies for a higher scholarship, we do award those ranging up to 50% tuition. So many opportunities for you to explore, but happy to chat with you more about Boston University.
Thank you so much, Mark. That was Mark, Boston University College of Arts and Sciences. I know these presentations will go very, very quickly. Thanks so much. And I'd like to now invite Arushi, and she represents the Loyola Marymount University. I'm just going to add her to Spotlight, and here we go.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. And I hope my screen is also visible now.
Yep.
Perfect. All right then. So, hi everyone. My name is Arushi Madan and I represent Loyola Marymount University. Now, I would want you to picture this like a Netflix trailer. And so imagine that, and epic background music kicks in, scene one, palm trees are swaying, Pacific Ocean is sparkling, and there's a student sitting at a cafe with his laptop open, coding the next AI breakthrough. Now, where are they? Los Angeles. Scene two, Elon Musk's rocket blasts off at SpaceX. A group of LMU engineering students look up in the sky and say, hey, one of our alumni works there. Scene three, an LMU student is pitching a startup idea at a cafe. Another student is interning at Netflix. And in another corner of the city, a group of LMU graduates are running entertainment studios and other global brands. Cut to the text on screen, Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles. Now, at LMU, it's not just about your degree, it is about transformation. At Seaver College of Science and Engineering, you could be building robots, or you could be solving environments problems in environmental sciences, or you could be building the next healthcare systems of the future. At the same time, at the College of Business Administration, you're mastering MS in business analytics, or something in entrepreneurship and innovation, or entertainment leadership right in Hollywood's backyard. Every movie needs a hero, and ours is our 98% employment ratio. So 98% of the students at LMU end up working right after their graduation with a median salary of almost about 130,000 US dollars. And that is not just success, that is what we would call a blockbuster ending. Since every superhero needs a sidekick, ours is 100,000 plus alumni and 50,000 plus employers right in your corner. So networking, consider it done. Scholarships, we do have them. We have our own merit-based scholarships. We have the seed scholarships, which get valued up to 50% of your tuition fee. and the graduate and research assistantships available on campus. Since you're here, we will be able to waive off the application fee for you using this code that's displayed on the screen. And that means that you pay nothing when you are applying for a graduate program at LMU. Now, to end your Netflix trailer, you can imagine that the music now swells, and there's a student who is sitting on a bluff at LMU looking at the LA skyline, and the Pacific Ocean again goes on forever and ever. And the caption reads that at LMU, you do not just study in Los Angeles, you become a part of it. So if you are ready to write your movie in LA, come and speak with me because we have saved a seat for you in the director's chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a good time to watch Netflix, but also a great time to listen to a Netflix trailer by Arushi on Loyola Marymount University. Thank you so much for that, Arushi. It's a quick reminder to everyone here. If you have any questions for any of these panelists, please use the Q&A tab. We will be able to ask you questions in the course of the next part, which is the panel discussion. Next up, I'd like to invite Brittany. Brittany represents the George Washington University and their School of Engineering and Applied Science.
Hello, thank you. Let me just share my screen with you all. Okay, can you see everything?
Yep.
All right, so I'm very happy to be here with you all today to share some more information with you about the George Washington University School of Engineering and Applied Science. My name is Brittany. I'm the Executive Director of Graduate Studies and International Programs. As you can see, the George Washington University is located right in the heart of Washington, D.C., which really provides our students with a very unique opportunity and experiences while you're doing your graduate studies here with us. Contrary to what you might be hearing in the media, we are located in a very safe part of the city, just about 3 to 4 blocks away from the White House, near large international organizations such as the World Bank and the IMF, as well as the Department of State. So again, our campus provides our students with access not only for research, but also for internships, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. In the School of Engineering and Applied Science, we have 6 different academic departments. We have 11 different fields of study, which are all listed here on the bottom portion of the slides. We have about 1,000 graduate students studying with us on campus, representing 54 different countries. So our student body is very reflective of what it's like to live right in Washington, D.C. It is a very international community. There's lots of events happening, not only at the embassies, but also in cultural centers. And it's a very lively place to spend a few years while you're doing your master's or your PhD with us. All of our master's programs are thesis optional, meaning you can choose to write a thesis and have a more research-oriented type of experience, or you could just continue on with regular coursework and have a more practical type of experience. All of our courses range, most of them are about 10 total courses, so they take about 2 years to complete at the master's level. I also wanted to take a time to highlight scholarships and funding that we have. So at the merit for our master's programs, we have merit-based tuition discount scholarships that range anywhere from 25% to 75% of a tuition discount. These are awarded at time of admission. So students see on their admissions letter if they are receiving one of these scholarships or not. For our PhD programs, those are typically full packages, which include tuition coverage as well as a stipend for monthly living expenses. So we are accepting applications now for the fall 2026 semester. Our deadline to apply is January 15th. And we do encourage anyone through today's event to use the fee waiver code of Seed India 2025, so you do not have to pay the application fee upon submission of the online application. I look forward to answering any other questions that you may have during the panel discussion, and thank you very much for spending some time with us this evening.
Thank you so much, Brittany. That was Brittany Wright from the George Washington University School of Engineering and Applied Science. Next up, I'd like to invite Paulette, who represents Santa Clara University.
Wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and share here. All righty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Paulette Palafox, and I'm the Senior Assistant Dean for Admissions and Student Services at Santa Clara School of Engineering, located in the Silicon Valley in California. My job is to help students gain admission to one of our programs and also help steward them through so that they're successful. So that's the student services component of it. As I mentioned, we're located in the Silicon Valley, which is pretty exciting because we have access, our students do, to a variety of different internships in industry, as you can see. Just a little bit about us, in case you don't know, is we are the oldest school in California, having been founded in 1851. We started offering engineering programs in 1912. We are of the Jesuit tradition, meaning there were a group of Jesuit Catholic individuals priests who decided to help create a school. And really their philosophy, you don't have to be religious to be part of the school at all. But really the core values that are instilled in our students really have to do with respect for one another, integrity, collaboration, exploration, and the idea of us helping to build a really competent person and help you create a foundation for a just and humane, sustainable world. And so that's really part of what we call cura personalis. So you will not only get a great academic experience and industry connections through our network, but you'll also have an ability to gain an education to help your mind, body, and soul as well. As I mentioned, some of the career options, opportunities for students really is our ability to connect students to amazing places. Like I say, being located where we are, we're just probably a block over from San Jose, so you probably know that area, or Apple, Amazon, Google, Oracle, a wonderful array of places that our students have filtered into. The other really neat thing about being a Santa Clara Bronco is that Santa Clarans love the students. So they come back, we have on-campus recruitment days, and they represent their companies to try to provide opportunities for our students. So it's a really nice networking opportunity. At our school, because I represent engineering only, we have over 11 master's programs and 4 PhD programs. The most popular for us are computer science engineering and electrical and computer engineering, as well as bioengineering and civil engineering. However, we have a brand new master's in AI, which is really exciting for us. We just admitted our first class this year that started, and there are 2 tracks, one for software, one for hardware. So there's plenty of opportunity to grow in either realm. We also have 4 PhD programs that I think are worth noting, and that would be computer science, electrical, computer engineering, mechanical, and then bioengineering. And that's really growing as an industry right now, so something to keep your eye on. We have 3 points of entry, so there are plenty of time for you to apply. Our largest class tends to be in the fall, and typically the 30 to 45% of the class is actually comprised of international students. And so it's really a welcoming environment. The #1 country represented is actually India. So if you decided to attend Santa Clara, you would be walking into a really warm atmosphere, and one in which you have colleagues that you share a familiarity with, which is really exciting and pretty comforting, I hope. Of course, financing your education is supremely important. And so some of the things we do are offer student scholarships, but more importantly, we have TA positions, the teaching assistant positions. And if you are offered something like a TA position, it covers either half tuition to full tuition plus a stipend. If you're a PhD student, then we have the research assistant positions that cover something similar. So I'm happy to answer more questions later on. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, Paulette. That was Santa Clara University. We have Natasha, who represents Columbia Engineering, who's going to be going right up next. Natasha, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. I think everyone can see it now. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Natasha Stanislaus. I'm the recruitment officer at Columbia Engineering. Columbia, don't want to make any assumptions, but Columbia University is located in the city of New York. We are the oldest institution of higher learning in New York State and the fifth oldest in the United States, making us older than the United States itself. We originally started off as a school of mines in the 1860s. As you can imagine, at that point in history, a lot of different industrial changes were happening, and there was a need to educate the next and best engineers and scientists. And our school is home of many innovations, including the invention of the FM radio, the creation of short exposure X-rays, the mass production of antibiotics, the tabulating machine. All sorts of different things have come out of Columbia Engineering specifically. We have 9 academic departments. And they all offer Masters of Science and PhD programs. We also have the Data Science Institute, which offers a data science master's program. And all in all, it's about over 40 programs in total. So we have a lot to offer academically if you're interested in engineering or applied science. But if there's a different STEM program you're thinking of, like perhaps biology or pharmacology, that might be a different part of Columbia University, but this is my contact, the bottom here. You're welcome to reach out to myself and our team. We're happy to help you learn more about Columbia. And a little bit more about the admissions process itself. We are completely online, like all of our colleagues that are here today, but we're completely online. You'd upload the materials and you'd be able to talk about in your application about why Columbia. And I think for many, it's because we are located in New York City and we have grown and expanded alongside the city itself. And we're both magnets for global talent. And so we know that students from all over the world are interested in attending our university. We'd love to learn more about you in the statement of purpose. And in terms of the deadlines itself, we are accepting applications now for spring 2026 and fall 2026 entry. For the fall deadlines, I will just point out that it does depend on which program you're applying to. There are various Masters of Science deadlines, but we're, again, happy to help in any way that we can. And when it comes to fellowships and scholarships for Masters of Science students, most of these are automatically going to be considered as part of your application. So the stronger your application, the better your chances for a fellowship or scholarship. There are some research and teaching assistantships, but the ones that are for Masters of Science students are not determined as part of your admissions process. So we're happy to answer additional questions. We'll be able to do so shortly. But that's a little bit about Columbia Engineering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natasha. That was Columbia Engineering. Next up, we'd like to invite, last but certainly not the least, Ryan, who represents NYU Tandon School of Engineering.
All right, is my screen up? Can you see it?
Yes, now.
All right, why study in New York City when you could study in New York City? We're actually located not very far from Columbia University as well in New York City. NYU is a university made up of 18 separate colleges and schools, of which Tandon School of Engineering is one. As you can see on the screen, my name is Brianna Ramos, except it's not. I'm stepping in for Brianna so that she can rest. My name's Ryan Glowacki. I'm an assistant director of marketing and recruitment at NYU's Tandon School of Engineering. A little more about NYU Tandon. So we, as I mentioned, we're located in New York City. We have 2 campuses. NYU is located in Manhattan, and then the engineering school is located in downtown Brooklyn, kind of right where the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge overpasses come together. So right in the center of downtown Brooklyn. Some other data on here, you can see we've jumped 30 spots in the rankings. If you want to look at some rankings, they're there on the right-hand side of this screen. You can see we're ranked number 32 for best global universities by U.S. News and World Report. We are ranked number 41 among the best U.S. engineering schools according to U.S. News and World Report. So those are some of our rankings. One caution I would give you is, while rankings are a good maybe start, look at ROI. I think ROI is really important. And all of these schools, it's really great to be surrounded by so many schools in this presentation that have such high regards in industry. So those of you that are looking at going out into industry, these are really great schools for a return on your investment when you're looking at the investment of a master's degree. NYU Tandon, we're a pretty large school. We have 33 different degree granting programs across 11 academic departments. We've, like many schools, have added a couple of more. Our AI-focused master's degree is a master's in emerging technologies. That actually has a lot of ability for you to kind of focus your degree in AI where you want to. So there are a lot of elective course offerings and very few core courses. So it allows for a lot of play in what you want your curriculum to look like. We also have just added in our Department of Applied Physics, we've added a degree in quantum science and technologies for those of you that are interested in quantum science. The rest of our programs you can see listed down in the bottom right-hand corner here. Computer science and cybersecurity are huge here at NYU. Our civil and urban engineering department is our oldest department as well. That's also where you'll find programs in environmental engineering as well. We also have a large management degree. It's a management of technology, and then we have a very robust industrial and systems engineering program as well. That's just to highlight a few of our programs. Lower left corner here, you'll see career services. Again, this points to ROI. I would challenge all of you as you're looking at schools to look for robust career services departments at this level. This is what is going to help you get those really good jobs. And I'm guessing these other schools that can tout 98%, 99% employment after graduation, a lot of them will have a very well built out career services department. So one piece of advice I would give you is to take advantage of these departments. If you did not do that in undergrad, now is a time in grad school. Just one other thing while I'm on this page, and then we'll move along. You'll see that NYU Tandon has over 5,000 graduate and professional level students. So that's out of the 8,290, you'll see that grad students here at NYU outnumber undergrad, which I think is kind of a neat thing to see, because you'll see that's where a lot of our attention for our school is focused on graduate students, and most of those graduate students are master's students. Probably the most important thing on this page for you immediately and directly is the application fee waiver. So grab that code. It's right here. Tandon BKLYN is our application fee waiver code. So write that down. And when you do go to apply at the end of our application, you'll be asked the question if you receive that code. Enter that in and it'll remove the fee. You'll also see we have merit-based scholarships. From my experience over the last 9 years, I see we give out a ton of scholarships versus giving out a few full rides. We give out a lot of what we call partial scholarships, like a ton of partial scholarships. And the amount ranges from $3,000 to $12,000 a year. Scholarships here at Tandon are automatic, so there is no additional application required for you to be considered for scholarships. We'll basically use your application. First, we'll address it for admission, and then we'll go back and address it for scholarships. So it's primarily dependent on your undergraduate GPA. So all of that work that you did in undergrad will hopefully help increase scholarship amounts or availability to you for graduate school. Bottom left corner, you can see typical application requirements. We don't have anything tricky. Transcripts, which you'll be able to upload via PDF, so we will need official transcripts only once you have been accepted. So you can easily upload transcripts. We'll need proof of a bachelor's degree once you obtain it. So if you are still in school now, we don't need a proof of bachelor's degree yet. There's a personal statement, a personal essay. We ask questions. So I know some schools will say just get us a personal statement. We actually, each of our programs is going to ask you a couple of questions to help guide you in your answers. Don't use ChatGPT. We can tell. We can just feel it. So we would rather have an essay come directly from you, even if there are mistakes, grammatical mistakes in that essay. We'd rather have that than a ChatGPT essay. We can tell. I don't know how we can tell, but I can tell. I can read. When you read many essays, you can see the ones, feel them. So make sure that you write your own essay. And then resumes, 2 letters of recommendation, although you can submit 3. We do require English language testing scores, so choose the option that is most convenient for you. And then the GRE is an important thing. The GRE is optional at NYU. That's another good question to ask schools. And is it optional? Is it required? If it is optional, it's important to know, are you expecting scores? For us, we are not expecting scores. So we left the GRE as an option, especially for those of you that may have lower GPAs. It's a great way to kind of back up and show that your GPA may not be a good representation of where you are academically now. So so that is an option, but it's not a requirement, and again, not expected from any of our departments. Deadlines here in the lower right corner, December 1 is the big deadline for PhDs and a master's priority deadline, and then we have a master's final deadline of February 15th. If you're interested in starting some of our master's programs that start in the spring, we're almost out of time. November 1st is your deadline. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I appreciate your time that you're joining this event tonight. So thank you very much. And that was NYU.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ryan. That was NYU. And now we have completed all the 7 wonderful panelists. We'd love all of them to come back on screen right now. Let me just remove myself on Spotlight. Yes, we've got 17 wonderful questions that have come in, and for the 78 of you that are still here, in case you have more questions, now is the great time to use the Q&A tab and to ask some of these questions, because these 7 panelists, you might have heard a lot of noise on the internet, on all social media platforms, and now is a good time for you to ask these questions to the people that actually know like to know their stuff, or from the horse's mouth, as you'd like to call it. Brittany, we'll first start with you. We want to understand some of these concepts. As we go through a lot of content on the internet, we hear about STEM designation, we read something about OPT, CPT. What are some of the benefits of students to pursue a STEM designated program versus a non-STEM designated program? And secondly, what are these concepts? What is CPT, OPT? What is F1? Is it Formula One, or is it something that we need to worry about otherwise? What is F1, and what should students know about the US student visa process?
Well, unfortunately, no. F1 does not stand for Formula One, as much as I would also be very happy to talk in depth about Formula One with anyone. We'll focus on the F1 visa, which is the typical visa category that most international students will apply for in order to come and study in the United States. So some of the key topics, and I am going to put something in the chat, so feel free to post that if not everyone can see that. But these terms, CPT, OPT, STEM designation, first and foremost, this is all terminology from the Department of Homeland Security. So meaning that there are STEM designated programs. So institutions need to go through an official process in order to have their programs deemed STEM as a STEM designated program. And that really is important for international students because all STEM designated programs then are eligible. That means that those programs are eligible for students who graduate from them to stay on for the OPT STEM extension. So first off, we talk about CPT and OPT. CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. That allows the student to basically participate in an internship that is related to the degree that they are studying while they are studying. And different institutions will have different times when you are eligible in your program to do CPT. So it's important to know, are you eligible for CPT during your second or maybe third semester? But that will allow you, again, the opportunity to get some hands-on work experience doing an internship in a position that is related to the field that you are studying. When you are getting ready to graduate, you will apply for what's called OPT, Optional Practical Training. Every F1 student who graduates is eligible for 12 months of OPT. And then this is where the STEM designation comes into effect. For those students who have graduated from a program that is designated as a STEM program, you are then eligible for an additional 24 months of OPT after the initial 12 months, so long as the employer who you're working for is STEM verified. So that means that a student who goes to a STEM designated program is eligible for CPT as well as eligible for OPT and the STEM extension, meaning they can stay in the US working for up to almost 3 years, still on their F1 student visa, before they would then need to look at alternative methods to stay working in the US.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brittany. That does cover everything. So, for you to, currently think about is that you start your program in 2026. If you do in 26, for example, then you'll do a 2 years master's program. If you opt for OPT, you have 1 year of that, and then the STEM extension makes it 3 years of that. Our next question, and it's a valid question that's asked currently in the chat, from one of the candidates, which was my second question as well, is about the H-1B visa, which is what candidates look to apply to after they finish their OPT. Are you there with the current news that's also there? And there are a couple of questions in the Q&A tab as well. What are some of the things that international students should look at when they read about so much content on the internet about the H-1B visa and how it can impact the students?
Yeah, sure, Sharang. So there's so much noise out there, and every media outlet is putting up their own different types of they're reiterating things. So the first advice I would give all students is that go on to the official website to see what is out there. And before even thinking about H-1B visas or working in the US, first you need to step back and ask a question for yourself. Are you ready for the US higher education? Are you interested to go abroad, to take that leap, take that risk, and go abroad for higher education? So ask yourself first that question. And if you have answered yes, then you think about what interests you the most, right? You might have taken computer science in undergrad, but this is your time to think about what interests you the most, what is your passion, and what is that program which will take you not just the next year, but for 10 years. So since like many of the students are from engineering background, let's do a simple math. Let's say that you are all applying for fall 2026 for a 2 year program, for a master's, which is a 2 year program, and you graduate in 2028. Then you have a 3 year of OPT with the STEM extension. That's 3 years and plus 2 years, 5 years. So 6 years down the lane. So you will be out of your OPT in 2031. So that's 6 years down the lane from now. So no one knows what's going to happen then, right? So you have to be positive. You have to hope for the best. And even we don't know what's going to happen then, right? We have to all hope for the best. And again, my advice to everyone is that this is the time. It's a inverted bell curve, right? We are at the bottommost part of it. So this is the time you invest in yourself, invest in learning about new skills, invest in your all these developments. So you will be on the right path then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'd like to also invite any of the panelists at any time if they'd like to add on to some of the comments as well at this stage. I think that was very well summarized for any student that's applying for fall 2026 or even later. It is 6 years down the line. And if you know what's going to happen in 6 years, please tell us also and maybe consider being a fortune teller because we'd love to
Astrologer.
know. Astrologer, and we'd love to know a little bit on that as well. Paulette, there have been like a lot of questions coming here about what does it take to be a successful applicant to any of these top universities, like, the ones that are currently present with us. Is there a secret sauce? If I do A, B, C, D things correctly, will I get into your university? What are some of the things that the admission teams usually look for in candidates like the ones that are currently applying?
The magic is chocolate. Just kidding. Actually, what's really interesting? I've been in admissions for more than 25 years, and I think one of the things I've learned the most is that there are a variety of things that we look for, and sometimes there's one thing that really pushes us towards a positive decision, and sometimes there's one thing that holds it back. And so sometimes when I talk to students and they ask why, even if they have strong scores, sometimes it has to do with fit into the community. And so one of the things that I like to look for is obviously you're working hard to have a strong profile. You have letters of recommendation, et cetera, et cetera. You're building this application, you have a resume, and we see the technical components. We see all the numbers and the mark sheets, et cetera. But what really is your magic, right? What is it about you that is going to make you a great fit here? You can do the academic components, right? You are strong enough for the rigorous research opportunities, but are you going to fit in with the community? Are you going to be a good leader? Are you going to participate? And so I look for people that have emotional intelligence. Are you self-aware? Are you empathetic? Can you read a room? Are you going to step in and help people when they need it? Or are you mature enough to know that maybe you might be hitting a wall and struggling, and so you'll know when to ask for help? And I think one of the things that's going to make students more successful in our global, right, like world in terms of collaboration is the ability for you to showcase ways in which you have strong leadership skills. You can take command when it's necessary, and you can, fall in line and help support somebody when they are a leader. So with that being said, it's really showcasing those character traits in your application, probably more so in your statement of purpose, which is really about your purpose in going to school, utilizing the education to further your path in your career. So that's really the purpose that you're having and the purpose of going to this school. So those are really important for me: emotional intelligence, resilience, leadership.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That was quite focused about what they're looking for as admission directors as well. Ryan, similar question, but more on some of the documentation and stuff like that. You know, as someone who would have reviewed so many applications to so many programs at NYU, could you throw some light on what are some of the key documentation in terms of essays, letters of recommendation, etc.? Do you expect students to have ready by the time they're applying to a university like yours?
Yeah, so looking at like the most important documents, I would say first and foremost, as you were kind of alluding, there is no secret I think sentence that you can say, or like enchantment that you can write on a statement of purpose that will make us look past your academics. Your academics are very important, and I'm not sure if all of these schools have dropped the GRE, but I know that when we did or made it or made the GRE optional, that means that we are putting all of that extra weight that the GRE had played in the application back onto your transcripts. So when we look at transcripts, we're not just looking at your cumulative GPA, we're looking at your transcripts literally course by course for prerequisite fulfillment, for fit between your undergraduate degree and your future grad degree. And what we're looking for, I think, in all of your documents is a kind of cohesive story. Not to say that your undergraduate degree needs to match what your graduate degree is going into. I mean, there's a huge argument for breadth over depth, right? So instead of diving deeper as a mechanical engineer into more mechanical engineering, that maybe you're adding computer science to it. So, but what we're wanting to see is a story. We're wanting to see like, okay, I can see why our program, specifically our program, maybe not our program and Buffalo and all these other programs that you understand our program. And so as you are creating these documents, I hate to say it, but you're going to want to create separate documents for different schools because the university at Buffalo's degree will be a little different than Columbia's or NYU's. And so you're going to want to make sure that as you're creating these documents that you are tailoring them and showing that you are a good fit for each school. Different schools will utilize different parts of the application in different ways. So some schools may put a ton of weight on letters of recommendation, where other schools will have maybe grown tired of your faculty pulling out a template and just inserting your name and your GPA into the letter. And so they may put a lot more weight on another part of the application. So it's really hard to say this one document matters the most. But in reality, we're looking, or at least we are, a cohesive story throughout your application that, as Paulette was saying, showcases fit. And as Abude was saying, showcases your passion for the field. Because how do you get that really good job at the back end in a tough market? You've got to be like really, really good at what you do. And how do you become really good at what you do? You have a passion for it. That's the answer. As somebody that went through graduate school twice once in the wrong field and once in the right, I would have been so mediocre at the first degree that I started. And I recognized that in myself. And it's because I did not have a passion for that field. And when I went and got my grad degree for the right reasons the second time, I was so excited to be in that program. And I truly mastered the field that I went through. And on the back end, then was very excited to join the community that I joined and the industry that I joined. And I think it's that excitement that we're looking for in you as an applicant that will help us feel like we are making a good investment in you as one of our students and that you'll be a happy graduate, because happy graduates get jobs. So I think that's kind of a overarching answer to your question, Sherry.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I think that was, quite informative as well when it comes to the documentation required and a little bit insights about GRE and a couple of other things as well. Arushi, we want to know a little bit about candidate profile, and if anyone would like to add on, I know that Brittany also likes to answer this, question. If you'd like to add on as well. If I didn't have great academics, Arushi, in my undergrad, what can I do? Unfortunately I'm not Harry Potter. I can't go back in time to actually time travel, write my exams again and get better grades. But what can I do if my profile is not that good? And secondly, and would love Brittany's insights also on this, that admissions team really talk about a holistic admission process, this word that we hear very often. What is the real definition of it? If I have really good academics, am I guaranteed admission? Could you throw some light on this? Arushi, we'll first start with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sharang. And now that you mentioned that we're not Harry Potter, makes me wish that I was, so that I could go back in time and correct all the mistakes that I made in my undergraduate degree for my graduate application. Yeah. So anybody who has not been a stellar student in their undergraduate degree does not mean that, their chances are absolutely zero of getting into any of the schools here. Of course, there are a lot of documents that we ask for as a part of the application process. Academics are one of them. We ask for the resume, the personal statement, which has to show the story that the student wants to tell us about themselves, who they are, what motivates them to apply, and how they can be an asset, not just to the school that they're applying for, but to the industry in the future. And along with that, we also request for letters of recommendation. Let's talk about the letters of recommendation first. So I would say that a student should always get an LOR written by somebody who knows them, has worked with them closely, and can talk confidently about the kind of contribution the student has made during a project or towards any of their peers who are studying along with them. And also it showcases growth and resilience and the willingness that the student will have to become a global citizen. Along with that, of course, resume is important. I speak for LMU when I say this, and I think there's a lot of us which do not require any work experience for a graduate application. But again, if there is a student who has any work experience, that also shows commitment towards going for a graduate program. I know that people who are into jobs do not always want to leave the income stream for a year or 2 years, and then spend money on a graduate program. So anybody who has worked for a little bit and has applied for a graduate program, which may or may not be similar to the field that they're working in, does show commitment that they want to take up the hard work that comes with getting into the research that goes into the program. That, and I think the one thing that I also want to add is that if there's anybody who, for any XYZ reason, couldn't score the required marks in any subject that would be essential for the graduate application of that particular program, should take up the effort and the initiative to pick up any online or any in-person certification programs, any short courses, which shows again an effort on the student's behalf. And that says that, hey, I couldn't score great marks during my undergraduate in this particular subject, but I know that it's essential for the application. So I went the extra mile and did this certification or 1 or 2 or 3 extra short courses to make up for it. So that I think would still up the chances that the student who has not had the best scores in the undergrad would still be able to make it to any of our schools.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I think that is, yes, very insightful as well, Arushi. She spoke about certifications, a better GRE score, LORs, and everything in your application to try and help you through that. Brittany, again, coming back to the holistic admission process, before you go, could you just throw some lights a little bit about what is this definition like?
Yeah, so the specific aspects of it will vary based on the institution or the university you're applying to. So kind of in generally speaking, Arushi mentioned all of those. We're asking you to submit all of these different types of documents. We want to see your academic transcripts, but we also want to see your statement of purpose. That's important because as much as you're trying to find an institution that's the right fit for you, academically, financially, socially, we have an ideal kind of profile of the student that we are also looking for. And hence why we want to see your statement of purpose. We don't want your statement of purpose to just be a narrative of your resume because we can see your resume. It was really important. What is it that you want to do, and how will attending our institution and this program provide you with the skills and the knowledge and the resource for you to achieve whatever that goal is? And so we're reading those statement of purposes. We are looking at those letters of recommendation. Hence why it's really important to have strong letters from people who know you. They can be both academic or professional, because we are taking all of these things into consideration to make sure that you are going to be a right fit for us and that our community can provide you with the resources and the skills and the network for you to be successful here. And so in order for us to be able to figure that out during the admissions process, we need to see all of these different elements and these different parts of the different pieces of material, because we are looking at them and trying to put together, yes, you're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for you.
Perfect. So it's all about finding the right fit, and the admissions team usually would help you out with that in some form or the other. We'll talk a little bit with Mark about the SOPs, the statement of purpose. Mark, I have a new best friend, and his name is ChatGPT and Perplexity. What is your take on the use of AI for writing SOPs, and any other tips and pros and do's and don'ts rather for SOPs?
Sure. I think I'm actually more pro AI than a lot of admissions colleagues might be. So we can start there. Um, the ChatGPT tool is not the one that's going to be in our classroom. So regardless of how well it has spun your story and your narrative, at the end of the day, you are expected to do the work. I think it's a great tool. It's meant to be used, but it's also meant to be used well and used wisely. So perhaps learning how to use it first and foremost would be the first part of this. The second is we know you're using it. We're also human. We're also not dumb. We know that students are relying on technology to make themselves sound better, sound smarter. The problem is there is no human voice behind a narrative that's generated by a machine. So we're losing your voice, we're losing your perspective, we're losing what makes you uniquely you. When I read generic, boring, same old, I'm not excited to admit. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so easy to find someone to say no to, is not because they use ChatGPT, but because they brought nothing to the table that ChatGPT couldn't spice up enough. So it's a flip answer. It's use it at your own risk, but use it wisely or you're risking everything.
Perfect, wonderful. I think that does cover a lot about SOPs as well. I think we've covered a lot of parts of the admission process. Natasha, a lot of Indian candidates, when they decide to pursue their masters, are thinking about career opportunities and jobs. Could you throw some light on what do the career services teams do at your university, for example? Because in India, we have this wonderful concept known as placements. 25 companies come on campus and hire 250 people overnight. That unfortunately does not happen. That's bad news for 36 of you that are still here. We're not going to have high number of jobs that you will get overnight, but there is a lot of important stuff that the career services teams do. And how do they support international students?
Sure, happy to provide that insight. So of course I'll speak on behalf of Columbia Engineering. All of our schools and programs here have career resources. Columbia Engineering is a little bit different, and then we force you to use them, and so that is one nuance I'll share. And so for us, all of our schools have their own at Columbia their own career offices. Columbia Engineering has a specific office that supports only graduate engineering students. So you're not competing for resources against other students of the other schools. You're not showing up to the same professional that's also helping law school and medical school students. There's a dedicated graduate career placement officer for your specific program and department that you're able to work with. And we actually have you meet with them before your program starts to go over your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. You'll also be able to go over your goals and talk about, what you're hoping to get out of the program, what roles are you looking for and hoping to work towards. And then you're able to make a plan for your time as a student. They also map those kind of experiences with your different professional development and leadership courses you can take. And again, we do force you to take some of them. And so anything from learning soft skills like public speaking or working on your English communication or being able to be part of an interview over lunch, any practice sessions like that, to going over some more technical skills like Python. All of that is built into your time as a student. And then we do have employers come to campus. They'll come in an informational setting. They'll do something virtual or in person to talk about their company, the roles that they'll be able to offer, or kind of what their goals might look like, what to keep in mind. Usually these career talks will actually feature alumni, people that were in your shoes maybe just a few short months or years ago. And they'll be an additional part of your network. So these are Columbia alums that you'd be able to continue to speak with. And then we also have the traditional fairs. So we will have, the big tables and all the companies stop by and kind of do preliminary screenings with students. And for us, over 90% of our students within 3 months do secure employment. That's consistent. That's over the years. That's every single department and program with all of the nuances happening. And so it is something I think a lot of people are certainly concerned about. But it's one of those situations, like what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? It's good for our schools to be able to provide you with those resources, with those opportunities so that we have the fancy statistics to show off. We're all here to support you in some way, shape, or form. We spoke a little earlier about statements of purpose, and even as early as the admissions process, you're thinking about your goals, you're thinking about what you want to do in the programs that you're entering. And that's all going to help you later down the road as you meet with companies, as you meet with employers, as you network with people. You've already thought about those goals. You wrote them down. You did it yourself. You didn't have ChatGPT do it. It came from you. And so it is important to also think about, even now, what are you looking to get out of your master's program? What experiences are you looking for? I saw in the Q&A, and I'll be honest, I did jump in and answer a few questions. Some students are really interested in research, and I think that's wonderful and great. Thinking about, does your program offer an opportunity to have a master's thesis? Or am I really just describing a PhD program? Right? Something to consider. We're all STEM schools, or mostly STEM programs at least. I think I saw someone in the chat throw in something about an MBA program. MBA programs are different, not necessarily a rule, but for the most part, they may actually look for a bit of full-time post-college work experience, whereas our STEM programs generally don't require that. They'll probably look at some combination of any and all research, any and all leadership, any and all academic strengths that you have. But there are some nuances between the different types of graduate programs. But since so many of our programs are accepting students straight from undergrad, we know that we might need to give you a little bit of coaching before you get out there and look for those jobs. And so that's something we're happy to do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think that answers a lot of questions that were also asked in the chat. We are, a few minutes in. We might not be able to get all the questions in the Q&A tab because I finished my line of questions. Now I'm going to rely on some of the questions that are in the Q&A tab itself. Mark, I think, a couple of questions that are coming around career opportunities. And I know that Natasha just spoke about what does the career services teams do, but, difficult question for you to answer, but if I'd like to quickly ask you a little bit about what is the current market looking like for engineering graduates? How have, let's say Boston School of Arts and Sciences, Boston University School of Arts and Sciences, recent computer science grads in the last couple of years fared? If you'd like to throw some light on that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we do that I know a lot of my colleagues do as well is we maintain connections with the industry. So we are having these conversations actively with folks that have hired our students in the past, asking questions like, what did we do well? What do we need to make sure that we are doing to support our students? And we do get feedback. The other part of this is our networks are quite vast and quite massive and engaged. So we're asking our alumni who hire our current students, what are you guys looking for? What are the trends? What do we need to do to shore up their skills and their experiences to give them the best chance of landing a position? The other thing is we've expanded opportunities, not just in the US. I think it's very important. We've mentioned this idea of being a global citizen prior, but that also means that not every opportunity that's the best for you is going to be in your home country or in the US. It may be in Singapore. It may be in Canada. It may be in the UK. It may be in a smaller part of the US that's not a major metropolitan city, but maybe more in the Midwest. So I think expanding where students are looking, making sure that they are tapping into the things that are being made available to them. It's one thing to lead a horse to water, it's another to have it drink. So we want to make sure that although we offer all of these things, that you're actively engaging with the folks that are there to help you. I appreciate what Columbia does, where they're like, show up or don't come to class. We're kind of trying to do the same thing. We want you to show up to activities. We want you to be engaged, and we want you to take advantage of those. But it is partially on the institution to make sure that those opportunities remain. And that's how we've approached that problem as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Mark. I think, that does cover a lot of aspects that we just spoke about when it comes to job opportunities. Just looking for more relevant questions. I think, Paulette, would you like to share a little bit about research opportunities? Because there are a lot of questions that have come about research, and a lot of Indian graduates consider doing some research programs, and not just, MS programs. Could you throw some light on how these fully funded research options work out?
Sure. So I'm going to talk about it in two parts. One is I do want to say for the master's programs, there are research opportunities for students. I think that's really important to note because you're not just only taking curricular courses, but there are opportunities to do things with faculty through one of the laboratories that we offer, the co-ops, etc. And there are opportunities for funding as TA students, as I mentioned earlier, so you can get half or full tuition and still do research. And then some smaller opportunities for masters to have research assistant positions. And that is exciting. And I think the other thing that's really neat is that there are directed research opportunities. So for example, we have a ton of electives. I'm sure we all have a lot of electives, but in your master's program, you have to have foundational courses plus electives, and you're sort of like creating your own curriculum in a way based on your interests. But occasionally there are times when you really hone in on something specific and you want to continue to advance that. So you can work with a faculty member to create your own directed research. That might actually play in really well if you're interested in pursuing a PhD at a later point, whether it's at our school or somewhere different. In the PhD programs in which we offer for, in particular for engineering, then that's when the likelihood of being fully funded occurs. And those are research assistant positions. And usually what has happened, and you probably know this because you're, in a STEM program, as it were, is that your faculty are writing grants to get funding for certain research. They're partnering with industry partners to get funding from those private companies to further advance, innovate, etc. And so in that case, then when you're in the admissions committee review process, all of the faculty will look at you, your one application, to determine which faculty will oversee you and then know that they can fully fund you. So it's really exciting. It's a great opportunity. And that's another reason why, going back to some of the advice that you've been given tonight about researching opportunities where you want to be, where there's a good network for you, if you want to stay on for the OPT 3 years later. So my advice is to actually have an Excel spreadsheet or something like that to write out all of the different types of schools that you could be interested in, that fit what you're looking for, so you know how to tailor your materials to that school, especially when it comes to the funding, because we're not really looking at it as like a merit scholarship or a need-based scholarship. This is full funding based on the type of research and innovation that you're interested in pursuing. And that's a lot of money we're talking about.
Perfect. No, I think thank you so much for that, Paulette. There have been a lot of other questions that are more individual university specific, and I recommend all the candidates that have individual questions to reach out to the universities directly. You can also connect with some of these folks on LinkedIn. They'll surely find some time to either have a chat with you directly or recommend someone from their team. Arushi, you've been in the US very recently, while you were at LMU, and you've also interacted with a lot of international students, Indian students primarily, who are currently studying in the US. What are some of the cultural nuances that you would like to share for Indian students when they go to the US? How is it different from life here in India?
So, I feel the first thing that the students really need to understand that they are taking up an education in the US, which is going to be very different from their home country. And they need to come in with an open mind and be able to accept people from different ethnic backgrounds, bringing in all different sorts of culture when they come in from different parts of the world. Sorry, somebody's ringing my room. So that's the noise in the background. Sorry. Yeah. So people do need to come in with that open mind and be open to receive any feedback that they might get from, be it a peer on the program or anyone from the faculty, which is something that an Indian student on any Indian degree when you are studying in India. And I think just the fact that, you know, everybody in India has been spoon-fed since the birth, I would say. And our moms are there to literally do everything for us, and we have house help, we have all sorts of help available. And that's not the oh my God, okay. Yep, cool. And that's not the practice anywhere in the United States. So really being able to do the physical, oh my God. Sorry. Yes. So the work that comes in with being, oh my God, I will just have to take this.
Not a problem. No, thank you so much. We've understood some of the cultural nuances that are obviously going to be there. Abhyuday,
Yep.
you've been in the US, for long as well, and you've also interacted with students from multiple universities over the last couple of years. Any tips from your end that you've seen for candidates growing up here, and then once they move there, how have they managed to take care of that?
So I would like to tell my own experience in here because I was an international student many, many years ago. And as Arushi said, it's going to be a big cultural shock for many of the students when they travel to the United States because everything is different, the culture is different, the way anyone communicates is different, so everything is different. So I go back to 2006, January. I went for spring intake. It's snowing in New York. It's almost like um, I think 30-degree Fahrenheit or something, But one advice I would like to give students is you should always go with an open mind, because you cannot plan everything and you cannot plan for everything from here, right? There will be changes, there will be different things. And one of the most important thing in many universities is that I have observed and that I have experiences that there is help in the university. And as students, you need to go forward and ask for that help. What happens here in India is like, we are spoiled for choices and we think that, we can do everything by ourselves and help is already given to us. Like you mentioned about the job placements here in India, right? Companies come here, like they recruit 250 students from this thing and it's already given to you. So you don't feel like going out there and asking for help. So that's something different in the US. You need to go out there and there's always help. There's international office. There are like different students from different countries who are out there who have already experienced. They'll be your seniors. So they are all out there to help you, for me to pick up from the airport, there were like 6 students had come who were already there, and these are not Indian students. They were from different countries, so they came to pick up for us from the airport. So these type of help is already there. It's just that you have to be ready to face a lot of challenges in this different country. At the same time, it's a bit of a risk that you're taking. What is, I mean, if you don't take risks, if you don't take that leap towards that risk, then it's going to be your career is not going to see the success that way. So as international students, there's always help. There's keep your mind open, be ready to travel around in the US. It's a great country. We traveled a lot as students, so travel a lot and you will learn a lot of things in the US.
Yep, thank you so much for
Sharon,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
to add to that, first of all, really sorry for what happened a few minutes ago with the calls and everything. But yeah, I think Abhyuday really just spelled out everything what I was going to mention. And to add to that, I would say that yeah, definitely go in with an open mind. You're spending a lot of money for to get into education, which would be very different from what you would get in India. A lot of opportunities are there. It's just a matter of asking questions and taking initiative. A lot of help is available, but not in the way that is available in India. You don't really just have everything being served to you on a platter. You take initiative, you do the hard work, things work out for you. There are people out there ready to help you, but they just don't know that you need help. So ask for help, take initiative, and things will work out for you. And be open to the fact that there will be people from different walks of life in cities that are bigger than your imagination. So be open to receiving that help, receiving that feedback, and anybody could contribute magically to your life. You just have to keep an open mind.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Arushi. I think Natasha, a lot of students usually would love to get in touch with some of you folks in terms of university delegates. What are some of the resources, formal, informal, direct, indirect ways that student can reach out? Do you guys do any coffee chats, any webinars about specific topics? How can students reach out to you?
Sure. Well, of course, as part of attending this event, we will have hopefully your information. And I know many of us are providing fee waivers through codes. I'm providing application fee waivers through the event registration. And so you'll get additional details about that shortly. And as joining our mailing list, you'll be invited to events. We all have webinars. We all have information sessions. I know I have application workshops. I'm sure most, if not all of us here have them as well. And these are great formal ways to learn more about the program, the history, our values, nuances of the admissions process and ask your questions. We also have panels, ways to just meet and hear from current students and alumni. Many of us offer coffee chats. Again, that varies. Usually it's an invitation, right? Maybe we're coming to a city near you and we're happy to meet and chat. Sometimes we go to conferences, academic conferences, and we can meet you there. But I would say beyond that, depending on your interests, if you truly have a strong interest in research, and perhaps your goals include a PhD, it does make sense to reach out to the academic departments or the faculty or both. I would also recommend you reach out to PhD students. If there is a lab that you're interested in, at least for Columbia, it'll list the PhD students and all their email addresses, and you can politely reach out to ask questions. There was a question in the chat about using AI or ChatGPT to check for grammatical errors in the essay or to maybe proofread documents, and that's one of the valid ways to use AI. That's okay. That's approved. Another way to use ChatGPT is you can ask for advice on how to conduct an informational interview. Maybe how do I send a cold email to a faculty member if I'm interested in their research, right? These are all things that you can do to better learn more about the program. And again, better prepare yourself for being a future student and alumni. That way, when they see your application, they can tell you've done your research. It's detailed in your statement of purpose. It's clear in the questions you ask that you're really genuinely invested in learning more. Networking is not like collecting Pokemon cards. You're not trying to catch them all. You're really trying to have quality experiences and interactions with people and learning more about them. And so that's just some of the ways that you're able to learn more. You can also, reach out to your own network. You're probably part of a college or a university that already has connections to colleges you're looking at. Maybe even your faculty can help and assist you in either making introductions or answering your questions. So there's a lot of different direct and indirect and formal and informal ways to learn more about all of our colleges and universities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Natasha. And that was very well explained about different opportunities and different ways to get in touch and speak. We'll end with the last question, and I know that we'll hear from each of them, maybe one or two lines, a little bit about one last tip. Maybe something we've already covered that you'd like to quickly go on, or something that we haven't covered through the last 1.5 hours, and you'd like to quickly showcase one last tip. Maybe if you want to start with you, Ryan, if you'd like to share one tip in a line or two about applying to master's programs in the US.
I was looking forward to being called last because sometimes it takes me a while to formulate a thought. I guess one tip I would tell you is make sure that as you enter a master's degree, that you're not just doing it because it's what's next. This is coming from a career counselor. My background is counseling and careers. And one thing I will tell you, and it was a mistake I made, is that I entered graduate school because it was what was next. And instead, I would challenge you to, and not to say that you need to know exactly how you're going to use your next degree forever, but a graduate degree is such a great opportunity for you to add breadth to what you're doing, to dive deeper into what you already know, or to pivot completely away from a field that you thought you loved until you actually stepped into it. And then you realize, you know what, this isn't for me, or I found another field that is so exciting. So master's degrees especially offer you in a short amount of time such a great opportunity to do one of many things, to add breadth to your field, to dive deeper, or to pivot. Not to say know exactly how you're going to use this degree, but I would want you to be able to very clearly answer why am I doing this, and why am I doing this right now? Don't feel like you're spinning your wheels if you go out and see what your field looks like right now. I got my grad degree. I started my grad degree at 27 and finished at 29. It was the perfect moment for me to get my degree. Had I gotten it earlier, I could have started in my field earlier, but I did not know what I wanted to do exactly at that time. So that's one thing I would tell you is you'll know when you're ready. And then once you do that, it can be one of the most transformative experiences of your life. It was for me. My 2 years in grad school were an amazing moment. So I would tell you, you're going to look forward to it. It'll be an amazing experience. So that's my advice.
Thank you so much. Abhyuday, you'd like to share one piece of advice?
About? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
No, one piece of advice for international students when they're applying.
So, one piece of advice, again, we all have dreams, but going back to what Paulette said is that we need to see the right fit, uh, because even I have dreams that, I have a dream of owning a Ferrari, but I cannot do that in the next couple of years. So, uh, one big advice is finding that right fit is difficult, but the help is out there. We are all there. We are all there to guide you. There are a lot of options for you. With all this information, it's overwhelming at the end of the day, with so many informations and so many universities giving you all this. With I mean, in India, every week there's an info session, every week there's an event going on, and I understand how overwhelmed you are. Uh, but this is the right time to invest in yourself. Take that leap, and see what is your passion. See that which one is the right program for you. Take some time to do some research on what type of programs are available in the US, and then make the decision of going to the US. So that will take you, that will save you a lot of time later point of life.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Abhyuday. Mark, would you like to go next?
Sure. I would say take advantage of everything that's being offered to you. Ironically, even though you're looking at being a graduate student, everything doesn't happen just in the classroom. You're joining amazing cities, you're joining cultural hubs, you are going to be in the middle of amazing sporting events and arts and museums and student groups and organizations and networking opportunities and professional development opportunities, conferences, and the list goes on. Obviously, do well in the classroom, but cater more to your time outside of the classroom. How are you developing the rest of you? Wonderful opportunities in all of our cities, in all of our towns, but you are beyond just a student. You're going to be a resident in the US. So take advantage of everything that's being offered to you and create your own path. Figure out who you are, figure out what's important to you. You never know who those paths will coincide with and cross. So again, go outside of the classroom and soak it all up.
Thanks so much for that, Mark. Paulette? One piece of advice.
Sure. So you all are very high achieving students. And I think one of the things that you should do is take a step back, and you're always going to be the person that puts the most pressure on yourself to be successful and achieve. And I think one of the things I've seen over the years, year in and year out, is people feeling like there is a rushed timeline. The right time to go to school is when you are admitted and you go to school. Like taking a gap year, sure. If you don't take a gap year, that's fine. But rushing something before you really have built a strong application is something that I'd advise against. And so just really know yourself. We know you want to achieve, we know you want to gain admission and start your life immediately, but realize you're already living life. And so that is just something I think brings a lot of mental peace, because you can get mental exhaustion pretty easily. And again, the pressure is always there, but you want to live a balanced life. And very much like Ryan, he went to school a little bit in a non-traditional pathway. Mine was way not traditional. My master's program was 14 years after I graduated from college. Not that I recommend it, but it was the right time for me. And I just tell you that because I think when the right pathway presents itself, then you'll know it's right for you.
Thank you so much. Arushi, just wrap it up.
Yeah, this is the one piece of advice which I dole out willingly, or maybe if somebody doesn't want to know, I still share this information. This piece of advice is that there is no don't feel afraid to ask questions, ask for help. People will not judge you or think any less of you if you seek help. And this works for graduate applications. This work for life in general. Nobody's going to think any less of you if you say that, hey, I need some help. You're not AI, you're not Mr. Perplexity, Mr. Chat GPT, who would know everything. You're not an encyclopedia. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to take a breather and say, I don't know everything and I need some help in this area.
Perfect, wonderful. So please do ask for help, and these six and earlier seven people are were certainly very helpful people, and they will. We have reached our time. It is 11 p.m. in India. A lot of us would love to go to bed. But I think Natasha, and we are before we finish, we'll have Natasha. Did you give your last piece of advice? My apologies. Wanted to double check.
No, my advice is a secret. It's fine. No, I'll
No,
just very
we must hear from you about your.
I'll just very
Yeah.
quickly share, you're number one. You're the most important part of this process. So there's going to be a lot of noise, whether it's family, friends, the news, the internet. There's going to be a lot going on. It is so important for you to take the time to think about what it is you want on this self-actualization journey as you become more of yourself, and to really think about how to, not just check the box in going to grad school or check the box in getting to, this fancy school, but to also really think about how do I make the most out of this experience. And sometimes it's a matter of connecting with people and campuses, and you'll feel at home somewhere. And like that's just kind of how you're able to go ahead. And so I would say, that's a big part of it. And also paying attention to details, pay attention to deadlines, pay attention to requirements. I saw some questions in the chat, which I completely understand because we're here tonight, almost in the morning, answering these questions. But take the time to reach out to each school individually to learn from each school, because there may be some nuances again, and those details are important. But that's it.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Natasha. And, apologies. I thought that you had started off with the advice and not finished off with them. But yes, we've reached our time right now. I thank you to all the panelists, for staying up so late, especially the ones who are in India. And thank you so much, especially to the 24 of you who are still in this room, still, I know, waiting to go to bed. So thank you so much all for doing this. We really appreciate it. And we wish you a nice rest of the evening, and to Ryan and Mark, a nice rest of the day. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye and good luck.